Good morning, Singapore, and welcome to the biggest and best breakfast show in the world. And it is so nice every Tuesday morning to see this face. If you log on to our Facebook page or you're watching us on YouTube, you know exactly who I'm talking about. It is Dr. Geraldine Tan from the therapy room with us. Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning, and I am in the therapy room this morning.
Yes, you are. We can see that. And Glenn, you have a little bit of admiration for Dr. Jerry. Maybe
Yes,
maybe
I always
bordering
want to
on
jump onto a couch, but then she says no.
bordering
We're
on like
friends,
a crush or
so,
something. Maybe a little
It's
bit
almost
of it.
bordering on obsession.
Right? A little bit.
Now they are kind of like making things a bit awkward, Jerry. we
They
have
are
a
being cheeky, and
we have a good friendship going on.
Which
you know,
is
a relationship that has now. I mean, if you put it together, first time I met Jerry, she was in school.
Yes, she was.
true.
She was in college.
Yes, and
Yeah.
I know we look, very compatible like that.
Uh-huh.
But she looks even more compatible with her husband.
Yeah.
This is true.
Julian, yes.
Good morning, Julian.
Morning, Julian.
Anyway,
How you doing?
these people, I tell you.
navigate away. I was trying to figure out what he was going to say next,
No,
We
actually,
never figure out what he's going to say next.
I just go with the flow. Okay, anyway, so today we're going to be talking about obsession. That's why Angel was saying all those things.
There's obsession, but I thought we will go into a really weird word that I recently found out. It is called limerence. So the first time I heard it, I was like, what in the world is this word? But everyone seems to be talking about it. And the person to, or the people to ask, are actually Shalini and Cheyenne, because it is their generation that is talking about it. So I think Cheyenne was saying, yeah, I see it everywhere, or I hear it everywhere. I'm not sure what you texted.
Sounds like a name though, huh? Limerence.
Limerence.
Like, okay. Limerence Wong, please stand up.
So, Cheyenne, have you heard of this word, limerence?
Yes, I have.
Did-
All over TikTok.
Oh.
Okay.
All over TikTok.
Like, how is it used and what are people
It's
saying?
I would say it's like a state of being or a state of mind where like you are infatuated with someone who has not given you any reason to be infatuated with them. Like you've made it all up in your head. It's a bit like being a bit delusional.
oh my
Like having a
Lord.
crush, but this person doesn't give you any reason to actually like them.
Is this for celebrities or for general people?
General people.
Oh, general people.
So in other words, in your head, the person likes you or something like that, is it?
In your head, you think like, oh wow, we could be like so good together, blah blah blah. But the person doesn't reciprocate in any way.
Okay. The
Like
person
feeling very-
may not even know you?
Yeah, it's like you could be feeling like very like melancholy about it, like very like yearning.
Oh.
Yeah, but the person doesn't reciprocate.
But are you then
That's
making a
dangerous.
move or not? Or just like it's
Limerence just describes the state of mind.
state of mind?
Okay. All right. Okay.
All right. What do you think, Jerry? I think
It's interesting.
she got it right, obviously.
The word has changed meaning over the years, but we will explore it, later on in the show. But I think it was born out of this thought of, being obsessed with an object, and this object is a person. So
Right.
that limerence over the person, that brings you the waves of different emotions. So you can go really, really high and you can go really, really low. So that's how the young ones are using it. So Cheyenne describes it as a state of being. So for them, it describes the mood that they are in.
Sounds very tiring because, emotional fluctuation like that, very, very high, very, very low, is emotionally draining for the individual.
It is. So but let's go with the different sort of different areas, because there's so many words, and I think we're going to need, those that are listening to us, those that are watching us, to help us with some of the definitions. Because as I was doing the research, I was like, admiration, adoration, infatuation. So all these words are so close together. I gave up looking up the meaning halfway. I was like, no, we're going to get the listeners to help us with it.
Okay, let's continue to talk to Jerry about Limerence on the Big Show TV. Meantime, here's Michael Mercagi with Scared to Start on KISS 92.
Wow. So yeah,
Before
Cheyenne
I
was right.
continue-
Yeah, carry on, Dr. Jerry.
Sorry. Before I continue, I want to really thank the KISS 92 team as well as SPH Media for the Saturday event. It went really well. We had 100% attendance, which means that everybody that had booked a ticket with us came for
Nice.
the event.
Great.
So we are very happy. So I hope everybody learned something. But why limerence was also a word I picked up was during the panel, we were talking about relationships, about teen relationships. And I was talking about situationship, skinship, and all the different relationships. And then I spoke about limerence. And you can literally hear a pin drop. So I was like, okay, I skipped a generation. The generation that was supposed to be there was not there. So it was quite interesting, when we were thinking about it and you all came up with, okay, obsessions in relationship and limerence came to mind. I was like, okay, let's have everybody talk about it since it's so trending, like Cheyenne says, on TikTok.
Wow. I have when I looked up the word, I didn't want to sound like an idiot and say, "Oh, I didn't know what this meant," because I thought everybody else might know what it means. You know what I
I
mean?
had no problems with that.
No,
What is Limerence?
So I was looking.
We had teens there, and teens didn't know. Sorry, you were saying
Teens didn't know.
Wait, so-
No, the teens didn't know.
Oh, the teens don't know.
Okay, so Cheyenne gave us, her definition based on her research.
Yeah.
Angel, was it?
It's the
similar?
same.
Is it
It's the
similar?
same. It says intense longing for another person, even when they don't fully reciprocate. The limerent person struggles to think about anything else but their crush and neglects their social life, work, and other responsibilities.
Wait, hold on.
What?
Fully reciprocate. That means that they are familiar with each other. She could or he could be teasing the other person. We have terms for people like that all these years. Teaser or whatever.
But I don't know if the other person
No.
does anything to create that. You know what I mean?
There's no signal from the other person, which is
That-
why
yeah.
when Angel said it was tired,
There is always a signal, a little wink.
maybe.
No, maybe that person thinks there's a signal. Like they open a door for them and they think, oh,
No, maybe the person doesn't know he or she is giving off these signals. I mean, that has been the
That
case
has-
also.
yeah, that's true.
Which is why, okay, my point here is the intensity. It's
Yeah.
got to be of a psycho level.
It's obsessive admiration or infatuation.
Dr. Jerry's like, we're way off.
No. I mean, it's very healthy conversations here, and it is very confusing. So sometimes the person can be a known person. That means you see this person in your vicinity. And most of the time for limerence, right, there is that you hold on to the possibility that you can get together.
We will be
And
together
there
one day.
is a hope. Yeah, so there is a possibility and there is a hope that we can get together. So it is closer than a celebrity. It's closer than just, having an infatuation from a distance. So this person can be quite close by, which is why you're reading into the different evidence this person is dropping. Although this person can be clueless about your intense liking for this person. So he might know or she might know that you like him or her. But he or she might not know how intense it is. Yeah.
This is why when Angel said it was very tiring, that was not the word I came up with. What I first thought of with limerence, because of the obsessiveness of it, is it's dangerous. It can turn violent.
Yeah, which
Of
is why
course,
it's
yeah.
a psycho level.
Yeah, it can turn violent. Am I right, Jerry?
Not quite, not quite. Okay, let's backtrack all the way, okay? So we're making it sound so bad, but let's look at the simple crush. And a crush can start in a young person as young as 10 years old. So from 10 to about their teens, so to tweens to teens, they start to develop intense liking for another person, or just that whole flutter, butterfly feeling towards another person, and that is normal.
Oh, there you go. Normal. There you go. I've had a crush like that before.
Yeah.
I remember years ago. I think I was in, Sec 2 or something. So I was 14, and I saw this girl from St. Hilda's School. She was 16.
Was she the one working at that amusement thing?
Yes,
And
Fun World.
You had said her name before.
Yeah.
What was her name? Wendy. No.
Wendy. Was it Wendy?
No, that's the burger place.
You had
Let's
said that she was an
say her
older
name
girl.
was
Yeah.
Wendy.
Let's say
yeah,
Wendy.
so I was like, I had this major crush on her. I
Yes.
shared a drink with her. I was like, oh my God.
Oh, you shared a drink.
We're
You
married
thought-
now. You know,
She
no.
touched the same
Yeah.
gaming machine. Oh.
And then eventually her boyfriend, came
Showed
and
up.
picked her up, and I was like, I was so heartbroken.
Crushed. Okay.
Okay, anyway, we got to go for a traffic update.
Yeah, so I mean, from the romantic, so from the first twinge of that romantic feelings and the butterflies, you go into high school crushes, and then you have all the fangirling, where celebrities like yourself would actually experience it, where people look at you from afar and they go like, oh, I want to be like, Glenn, Angel, FD, and it is healthy because you provide that role modeling. So you have a certain lifestyle, you have certain values that you showcase, and that appeals to them. So it's not just about looks. So they would want to come forward, they would want to come for your shows, they would want to queue up for hours. It can get a little bit obsessive, but that's where they start to think about what kind of lifestyle do I want? What kind of community do I want to be in? And they find like-minded people. So it can be very healthy. Not the obsessive ones, but just really having a singer perhaps that they follow. So that would be healthy fangirling.
Okay.
Do we have any Facebook comments?
Benjamin said he's always had crushes on his teacher, so I guess we have fan teachering as well.
Ooh.
Yeah, well,
I don't think it's the only
yes.
one.
Yeah.
Come on, we've all had a crush on a teacher at some point, right?
I have.
So
I
have I.
definitely have.
So have I.
Okay.
100%.
No, I haven't. But okay.
When does it get bad, right?
Yeah.
When does it get bad? Okay, so I started with the good part, the positive, values of it. But it starts to get really sinister when you hear people say, Ben, I hope you don't do that. But some people actually say it. I think of my teacher and I masturbate to her.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah, so it takes a different turn now.
Yeah.
So it suddenly becomes a little bit more sinister. Or, you start to have fantasies like, this person is doing this for me. I'm going to come forward and I'm going to show myself to that person. Or they start writing love letters and believe that they are in a relationship with you. That is what we call a parasocial relationship. So parasocial relationship is an older term than limerence. So limerence is a
Okay.
newer term.
Okay.
Parasocial relationship came up in the 1950s.
Okay.
So that's when you have a one-sided relationship and the illusion of intimacy.
Okay,
So
let's continue to talk
sometimes-
about this, Jerry, on the Big Show TV, okay? It is 8:21. Okay, sorry about that.
Yep.
So you were talking about parasocial relationships.
Parasocial relationships. So that one becomes a little bit more dangerous. And some of the psychiatrists, even psychologists, or maybe people in the service sector may have experienced it. So some of the stories that, older psychiatrists have told me is that the patients would write notes, love notes to them. And they would believe, because they do have still the engagement, right? They come for their appointments. So every time they come in for a session, it's almost like an ecstatic sexual experience for them. And that's what they believe in their head. So it's all fantasy, it's illusion in their heads.
Is it
But
because they're
it's-
more highly sexed than other people?
know,
we should talk about that in a few weeks' time or whatever. Some people, they obsess and they they're always thinking about sex.
Yeah, that's an illness.
Is that an illness? Because see, Angel just writes it off as an illness.
I wouldn't say it's an illness.
There could be reasons for it,
Yeah.
and how someone can control maybe.
No, but are we talking
their
about
thoughts.
sex now, or are we talking
No,
about what she said?
which is why I just said we're
Right,
planning
yeah.
forward.
Okay, okay.
In the next
Yeah.
few weeks,
Yeah.
we should definitely touch on that.
Okay.
Since she brought it up.
But I also feel like you were saying, like some patients do experience that with their psychologists or their psychiatrists and all that, because
Yep.
those are the people that listen to them, and those are the people that communicate with them, and so they feel that closeness, and they feel that maybe this is a could-be relationship.
Yes, it is a possibility, but it is a fantasy in their
Yeah.
head. It is not real at all. So how people actually have a parasocial relationship with a celebrity is when they start looking at and now we have social media, right? So your TikTok, your IG posts, you post on your story, your WhatsApp status, or your different status, and they start dwelling on it. They start asking themselves, because they're creating a story. Oh, is this post? So I had this thought, and you have now done this post. Are you
For me.
trying to tell me something? Is this message for me? And that's how it feeds their own fantasy world. Yeah. Or if, let's say, they're at an event that you're hosting, and you happen to look in general in that direction, and they say, oh my God, he knows I'm here, or she knows I'm here, and gave me eye contact. I am so special. So they start to have those fantasies.
But
And
this is
they
different
dwell
from
on
the. This is, you're still talking about limerence, right? Or you're talking
This
about.
is parasocial relationship, which also
So it's the same.
then brings about this newer term called limerence. So limerence came about in the 1970s, towards
79,
the
yeah.
end of 1970s. So it came 20 years later.
Jerry, Moll has asked a question on our Facebook page. Dear
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
does the relationship with parents during childhood influence a child's tendency to experience limerence?
Okay, so Moll is asking about the very Sigmund Freud ideology of a parent-child relationship. Not everything would affect or impact and become limerence, but definitely if we look at childhood trauma, especially when we talk about abuse, especially if the child is sexually abused. Yeah, so then that would be, so abuse, trauma and abuse does cause them to be more susceptible to limerence or certain types of relationship. Poor attachment style, that means we're aiming for secure attachment, but it could be disorganized attachment, insecure attachment, that also causes the person to have poor attachment or poor relationships with people later on.
Isn't
So
it
that's a
amazing
very
that
valid question.
Isn't it amazing that we have, psychologists these days that we can go to? I mean, unlike before, when you guys were not so accessible, but these days it's so much more accessible.
Yeah.
And if you're having an issue, there will always be a reason for it. In the past,
Of
you
course,
just
yeah.
think to yourself, "Oh, there's something wrong with me,"
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
not be able to figure it out. But now, if you feel like, what? Why am I like this? Why do I behave? Why do I have these thoughts? You can always go see a psychologist and find out,
Yeah.
what
For
what
sure.
the root cause may be.
Yeah.
And I sent Dr. Jerry this article yesterday that I came across. Good news because Singapore is such a stressed out society, and we're, mental health is at the top of a lot of companies. In terms of prevalence and in terms of paying attention to it. And a new mental health hotline for stressed out Singaporeans is actually going to be launched next year by the government.
Wow.
It was
Yes.
just announced. It was just announced. So I sent her the article last night.
Yeah.
And the number is
yeah.
669109020. It's going to happen next year. It'll be our big show hotline. If you're stressed out, you call us.
Call us, and it'll be directly linked to Dr. Jerry's office.
Yes, how about that?
We're like forward
no.
calling.
No. We could do it while you're on. Like right now. Call us 669109020.
Actually,
I mean,
if
don't
they
really call
want
us now.
to, they can WhatsApp in.
They can WhatsApp in any questions that they have.
Wait,
yes.
which ministry is in charge of this?
Let me have
Could
a
it
look.
possibly be the Ministry of Health? Because then this coming Friday, Minister Ong Yi Kang is coming in
This is
to
true.
the studio. Maybe
This
we
is
can talk to
true.
him a little bit about mental health as well.
Yeah.
Let me find out who it's done by.
Jerry, David has also come round and said, Limerence sounds like an insecure stalker.
Oh, Limerence Tan.
No, I mean the term.
Oh.
So,
Glenn.
okay. So we talked about trauma, we talk about poor attachment. So it does impact the person's self-confidence and self-worth. The other part is that they may have an underlying condition, a mood disorder like depression, anxiety. So that also might cause them to present with that sort of obsessive behavior. So David's not wrong by saying that, if someone is insecure, they may want to hold on to something or have
Hold
control.
on to the night.
Oh
And
my
that
God.
thought, and that thought.
Okay,
We're
hold
going
on.
to traffic.
Traffic update. Hold on. After we come back with that, David again.
Styles. We spoke about trauma like abuse and sexual abuse. There could also be clinical disorders like depression and anxiety, which makes you more susceptible. The last one can be poor self-esteem. So poor self-esteem, like what David says, is poor self-worth, poor self-confidence, and you feel insecure about yourself. And therefore you are latching on to someone else, or you're hoping to get some validation from that person.
Where does this come from, though, Dr. Jerry? Is it upbringing? Is it a family life as they were growing up? Why do people become like that?
To have limerence. So the for the young ones, they're using it as a state rather than as a full-on obsession. So if we look at the 1979 definition, it's definitely a lot worse than what it sounds like these days. So limerence is where the younger ones now, they obsess over a person, they overthink, they have a lot of thoughts about the person, and they yearn for the person, and their emotions go on a roller coaster. So if they have a glimpse of the person, they are very ecstatic that day. If they go, oh, but the person didn't appear, or the person ignored me, ignored in quotation marks, their day is just horrible, and they can be in pieces. So it's quite exhausting for them.
So if we don't use the word limerence, then extremely obsessed would be suitable.
So they don't call
Because
it
what-
an obsession,
Okay,
but
then what?
they have a lot of intrusive thoughts themselves. So an obsession could be quite overt. I'm collecting things. So you've seen shows, we've heard
Yep.
about it. Someone is very obsessed about another person. So they collect all the merch or merchandise of the other person. They collect all the pictures of the other person and they put them up on the wall. So there's that obsessiveness there that is a bit more overt. This limerence is more intrusive. So these are a lot of intrusive thoughts. I'm yearning for that person. I'm moping about my day, about that person. I'm wondering, I'm very, very anxious. Will this person get together with me? Will we have a relationship? Where will we end up?
Psycho attracted. Psycho attracted too. I mean, you just tell me if I'm getting closer.
But this is like you were saying, limerence is not in relation to a celebrity. It's in relation to like an everyday
Anyone.
a-
Yeah,
any-
it can be anyone.
And the Gen Zers and the young ones are maybe also misusing it because it appears so much on social media and all that, like the word depressed. Like everyone's
Yes.
like, oh, I'm so
Yes.
depressed, or I'm suffering from limerence. They might be using it wrongly as well, right? Or lightly.
So I will check with Cheyenne. Cheyenne, when you see the TikTok videos, do they ask for it to be reciprocated, like the relationship or the attention to be reciprocated?
And do they actually use the word limerence?
Yes, they use the word limerence. They don't need the attention to be reciprocated when it's in the context.
So for the younger one, they use it very flippantly. The
Yeah.
actual one actually has that element where you want the person to
respond.
reciprocate the relationship.
Okay, let's
So you're
let's
chasing after that.
let's continue to talk to Jerry about this on the Big Show TV. Here's Tom Grennan with Higher on Kiss 92.
Jerry, I've been listening to this. Does this mean that people who deal with or have limerence, is it that they don't understand the difference between, say, admiration,
Fangirling.
infatuation, adoration? Is it because they don't understand these terms, or they have a warped interpretation of these terms?
They just interpret it differently. So I think with different generations, we interpret words differently. That's why I wanted to be very clear about how they are using it, because the way the young people are using it nowadays, it sounds like fangirling. It sounds like a crush. Not quite, so I admire you from a distance, and then maybe a little bit more obsessive. But it is not that I require you to reciprocate. It's not that I require you to eventually, for us to end up together. No, not quite that.
Like I don't need David Gandy to send me a direct message to.
David
But
Gandy.
you can't sit there and obsess
But I
about
can't
him.
sit there and obsess about him.
I
of course.
still say only
I know what you
Angel
mean.
really knows David Gandy. We
No,
only
I
know
do.
David Gandy
I
because
really know David Gandy.
No, I do
yes.
too. Yeah, sorry.
he's into men. What can
Hey,
I
stop
say?
it!
Effie.
No, he is
it's David Gandy.
he is just an incredibly good-looking man.
He is
Wow.
though.
You
yeah.
cannot deny it.
Yeah,
There
he
you
is, though.
go.
But he's not for
Limerence,
everyone.
FD.
He's not-
Limerence.
Oh, well learned, Glenn. Well learned.
Well done, Glenn.
Ren has come across and says, is this limerence, or can limerence be a form of escapism?
Oh, interesting.
Okay. Yes. So sometimes if you are insecure, especially if you are lonely, so we spoke about loneliness before, right? If you're feeling very empty, if you're feeling very lonely, sometimes this helps to fill the void within yourself, because it gives you something to look forward to. It gives you something to think about. It feels very nice because it's almost like having a relationship, but not really having a relationship, So that can fulfill some of the needs that you have. Yeah.
Okay.
These people
so-
probably have never been in a relationship before. That's why.
Is that true?
Is that true? That's interesting.
No, right?
No.
Can
it
they
doesn't
wait,
mean.
Can they be in a relationship and have limerence for someone else? Is that how you? Is that how you?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just wondering.
I'm sure you
Does
can.
that, is that considered cheating? Because
It
you think
may be.
no, I mean because
Of course
you
not.
think you're in a
No, yeah.
relationship.
It's in your mind, what? How can it be cheating?
Yeah, but I mean, some people, some girlfriends or boyfriends say, "Oh, if you were thinking about that person, that means you're cheating on me."
Those are your Catholic friends. I was taught growing up, it's like,
Right?
impure thoughts and what desires and all that. Okay,
So-
go for confession right now.
Yeah,
I'm like,
so
oh my
I mean,
God.
if is limerence then, if you're in a relationship, considered cheating or
So, if you're taking the definition of limerence in a traditional sense, where you are obsessing, where you want a relationship with the other person, where you are fantasizing about having sex with the person or really having a lot more intimate relationship with that person, then it can be considered cheating. I mean, depends on what kind of relationship you have, right? But it can be considered cheating. It is
If you're a
different,
Catholic.
so
Because you want the relationship.
yeah, you
it's
want
not
it to
cheating.
happen.
Come on.
No, but if you're in
Life
a
is
relationship,
complicated
no,
as
if
it
you're
is
in a
already.
relationship, you're married, you're whatever it is, long-term relationship, short-term relationship, but you're fantasizing
Yeah.
about someone else that's
Everyone-
within reach.
Everyone fantasizes.
That's within reach. I don't know. No, it's
Yeah,
true.
so-
Everyone does
there's
fantasize. Yeah.
sorry, Jerry. There's fantasizing,
And
Glenn,
thinking that
and
it will
there's
happen.
unhealthy fantasizing.
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
So
Anyway,
the
if you're a lady
traditional
and if I
sense-
wink at you, it means I've already fantasized about you already.
It
Just
means,
to let you know.
It means we're married. We're about to have
Okay.
children. It's just like your obsession with that girl.
Oh no.
Wendy?
No, I
Wendy?
hope I don't
Wendy.
accidentally wink at someone.
Careful. Don't throw your wings everywhere, okay?
No, that's terrible. Oh dear.
Cheyenne and Shalini, if I accidentally wink at you girls,
It means
it's-
nothing.
No, it means nothing. Yeah, because sometimes I'll wink at whoever's on the panel, and they'll press the button. Okay. I'll close both eyes. I'll do a double wink. How about that?
Okay.
Yes.
You better
Like,
just put your hand up from now on.
like the that sitcom, I Dream of Jeannie.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Wiggle your
Right,
nose.
right,
Wiggle.
right.
Okay, sorry. Where were we?
Dr. Jerry, sorry.
I don't know. I wanted to say something and I forgot. But okay, I think what I wanted to say is that if it's a traditional sense of the word of limerence, then we need to be a little bit cautious. But most of us, have little crushes, and that is fine. When we adore or admire someone, I'm sure if you ask many of the ladies out there, or even the teen girls, they have plenty of crushes on all the K-pop stars. And
The
that
boys
is
do as well.
okay. And the boys do as well. Let's not
Yeah.
forget the boys. Yes. So, and the boys also have their own, fanboying, for different celebrities. That is okay. So as long as you don't cross a certain boundary, as long as you're not fantasizing inappropriately, that is fine.
But who draws these boundaries, though? That's the question. And what are the boundaries?
So when it starts to affect your relationship, so sometimes you are fantasizing so much, you cannot have a rich enough or a deep enough relationship with the person that you're with, or you're fantasizing so much, and we had before, fantasizing so much with whoever that's in your head, the whole sexual affair in your head is fantasy. You cannot have an intimate
Oh, right.
relationship with your partner. So it really affects your relationship in real life.
That's
in
extreme,
real
Marissa.
IRL.
IRL, yes.
That's
That's a
extreme.
problem.
That is a problem,
You know,
yeah.
that's psycho already.
No, I don't think it's. Is it considered psycho, Dr. Jerry? You can't call the person
Not
psycho.
really. I mean,
Actually, it's
but-
okay.
but
Psycho
it
doesn't have to be
is-
a bad word. It's just an extreme.
To me, psycho is
To me, it's a negative
Because of that
term.
movie, lah. That's why.
No, but it's a negative term to me, Dr. Jerry. Psycho.
It is a clinical term to me, so I would not use it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So if it crosses a certain threshold where it affects your relationship, we would not go there. If let's say you have a clinical disorder, so like depression, anxiety, because of your fantasies, and you're breaking down all the time, you cannot work at all because you're like, oh my God, is he or she, going to be with me? And you're very consumed by it and you cannot do anything else. That becomes a problem. And we do have people that are very consumed by their thoughts.
Hold
and cannot
on
function.
to the night. Oh, okay. Okay. Coming up. Last talk set.
Okay.
This whole morning we've been talking about limerence and how it is very obsessive and how it affects people. But there must be a way for anyone dealing with limerence to step away, to come out of it, to step
Someone
away
needs to
from
slap them one time.
it. There must be a way to step out of it, though.
There is. So the good thing about limerence is it's because of how the youth use it nowadays. It's almost like a crush. So sometimes it would dissolve after a while. So it starts to dissipate the feeling. So it's like a crush and you get over the crush. So it might happen very naturally. Sometimes the other person outrightly rejects you. And that starts the whole process of grieving and then it ends. So that might happen.
Or not, Jerry. Remember the movie Fatal Attraction?
I was about to say, yeah.
Then we need to work on it because it might be caused by some of the other issues that we were talking about. The mood disorders, the trauma, the poor attachment, where any rejection may be too much for them to manage. So they would then need professional help because it may become dangerous. I think FD was talking about obsessiveness, the stalking, where you make the other person feel unsafe, the harassment, where it becomes dangerous. So it may cross into that. Limerence itself may not have the harassment, may not have all of the more dangerous aspects of it, but it may cross into that.
Okay. All right, Jerry. We've got to end it right here.
Sure, but it is fun talking about limerence and it's not a person.
Thank you for making us learn a new word this
Yeah,
morning.
it's really good.
No worries. And Lao Tzu says, being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage. So giving everybody courage.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thanks, Jerry.
Have a wonderful day ahead.
All of you too. I'll see you next week.
See ya.
Bye, Jerry.